pilots, this is Fernando Z, developer of Hunternet Starfighter. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how I like to practice versus the AI bots in Hunternet to improve my piloting skills and stay sharp. First things you want to do is join any of the wargame servers. Pick one that has no other players on it so you'll have complete control over the server parameters. Then here on the left hand side of my ship's HUD, press the right arrow if this menu is not showing. Then scroll through this menu. By default, the arrow keys will scroll up and down, and then left and right to open and close menus. Go down to the location menu. Change the mission type to invasion. Default is attrition. If invasion is too hard, you can do the same basic training sequence with the attrition mission type. Main difference is with attrition, you will have AI allies, making it easier. With invasion, it's you versus an ever-growing swarm of AI pilots, so it's significantly harder, but I'm going to switch to invasion. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to switch the default duration from 12 minutes to 6 minutes, but I recommend 12 minutes is probably a better practice. If the default invasion is too difficult, then you can turn on repair on kill, which means every time you kill an AI bot, you will regenerate a new ship with ammo and hull. The other thing you can do if you want to make it harder, though, is turn on no casualties and the match is over if you die. And if you want to make it even harder than that, you can turn on bot hunt, which means that the AI, your friendly carriers will only refuel you. They won't repair or reload your ammunitions, which makes it a lot harder. For this demonstration, I'm going to have stop to refit and repair on kill off, and the mission type to invasion to 6 minutes. The other thing you can do is switch to a different location. Primordium is the default location, is a great place to practice. Harvester is a unique location that you don't have a carrier, but you do have this an arm on one of these space stations arms to repair you, and you don't have turret cover. It also has atmosphere, which changes the flight model a bit. This is a fun place to practice. But for this one, I'm going to use Old Blue. Black Corridor is our racing location, which is a place I want to highlight for new players. It's a good place to focus on your flying skills, because Hunternet players that struggle, usually it's because they're having trouble with their flying. So if you're having problems with combat, focus on your flying skills first. You should be primarily using your flying to make attacking the enemy easier, rather than focusing on just aiming, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make sure mission type is set to invasion. 6 minutes, and I'm here at the bottom of the location menu. I'm going to go ahead and start the mission. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Let me change my loadout real quick. Refit break. Go here to refit menu. Here you can change your ship. You don't have to use the default loadout. For beginners, usually the default fighter, the light fighter, is a good choice. It's very maneuverable. It is much easier to blow up, but because it's more maneuverable, it's easier to get out of problems if you get in danger. But you can also try the heavy fighter. Some of you coming from slower paced sims might find that easier to get used to. There's also the fighter bomber, which, as his name implies, is also capable as a fighter, not just as a bomber. But I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the Tiger Shark, and then I'm gonna change my loadout. The weapons are listed from high projectile velocity to low projectile velocity. I'm gonna switch to Plasma Cannon because the bots aren't the most maneuverable, so using a lower projectile velocity weapon is gonna force me to get in closer. And then for my second hard point, I'm gonna equip an inertial dampener, which will allow my pilot to pull more G's, letting me fly more aggressively. And then for the third hard point, I'm going to use the boost augment, which is increase my ship's acceleration, again letting me more aggressive. And I enjoyed this loadout when I'm getting at spots because I like to get in close and fly as hard as possible. But I highly recommend experimenting with the different loadouts here, different ships. At the beginning, though, you'll probably want to keep it simple, stick to one weapon, but then as you get comfortable with one weapon, try out multiple weapons, try out missiles, and just mix it up. The bots are a great way to train and see what you like in the game. Okay, there we go. Got my loadout. You can see it here. Plasma Cannon DMP boost. before the fight starts. You can also keep an eye on my thruster status here. Regular thrust, this is the center display left light. Using regular thrust right there. Combat boosted thrust right there. Power burn. You got 3 levels of thrust. Power burn is sort of like an afterburner. And then you can see if I'm using flight assist right there with the assist light, or if I'm braking, right? And you can also see my speed and fuel. So okay, AI's coming in, looking at the radar. You see they're straight ahead. Fly their direction. Symbol flip up or down depending whether they're in the upper or lower hemisphere. So when it flips directions, it means they should be right ahead. I think that's right there in the distance is the AI. Okay, now he's no longer an unknown signal. I'm gonna press smart target. Got him targeted. He's coming straight at me. I'm gonna avoid the head-on. He's 1.5 kilometers. He's gonna be in radar range. It's gonna get dangerous. So I'm gonna strafe, avoid him. I can tell from the weapons fire that he's using a Vulcan cannon. My goal is to try to hit his flanks where I can do additional damage while staying outside of an effective firing solution. And again, my focus is on flying first and then adjusting my aim second. Okay? Against him, a human player, it's going to be harder to flank them as easily as I'm doing here against the AI. But nevertheless, practicing those aggressive maneuvers with the AI is going to be valuable because you're going to get much more comfortable pulling maximum Gs without going into G-lock and just get a much more intuitive sense of how your ship flies. And it also is a great way to practice managing your distance. If you look at the distance on the right monitor, you'll see that I try to keep the enemy ship, as close as possible, 300 meters or less, ideally, which makes aiming a lot easier. So, okay, there's the nearest enemy bomber. I don't want to get too close to enemy carriers there, so I strafe, let them pass me. I use power burn to close the distance, and I'm switching my direction of strafe from lateral to vertical to avoid blacking my pilot out. So roll is also important. There you go. I'm using the lag pip. The default is lead pip. Neither one is superior to the other, but you might experiment with both. But in both cases, be careful for those collisions. That's the one danger. In both cases, one way to think about it is this: how one of our players put it, new players put it, is I'm trying to minimize the amount of drift between me and the enemy ship. So I'm strafing in such a way to lower some of that drift. So I'm strafing towards them. So if they're towards my left, I strafe to the left. They're above me, I strafe up. I crashed in a little bit into the wreckage there, took some damage. So I'm strafing into the direction in which they're moving, further cutting the amount of drift, moving the pip closer to the ship. And then with my rotations, I'm making the fine adjustments. And then I'm avoiding, especially this guy's got dumb rockets, I'm trying to avoid being in the line of fire by strafing up, left, right, or pushing past their wing line. And you'll hear the little power burn. It's a great way to push past their wing line and in short bursts to close in on them. So you don't want to be boosting or power burning all the time because it's going to pull a lot of Gs. So you'll use it in judicious. Oh, I'm under attack. I have 4 enemies here on my radar. Okay, let's see. I'm going to boost past this guy, rotate, turn. I've been playing this game so long that a lot of my maneuvers are sort of, baked into my wetware, so to speak. But from this video, you can see I tend to rotate, strafe up, and then halfway through my rotation, switch to strafe right or strafe left. That way I'm distributing the load, while at the same time seeing which direction I need to strafe to lower the amount of lead needed to hit the target. And I hit R for nearest enemy, or smart target to target in front of me, and go for those. Use power burn to just stick on him. Goes for those flanking shots so I can dispose him as fast as possible. Being ready to be evasive. Even though it looks like I'm being very aggressive, which I am, my priority is always staying alive, okay? And one reason I'm being so aggressive with my flying is to just not give even the other ships that are trying to third party me, I'm trying to minimize the amount of shots they have on me, the opportunity for them to hit me. So by keeping my flying aggressive on my current target, I prevent the enemy ships from having a good shit. Now here, this guy just launched SRMs, and I just got the low fuel warning. With SRMs, you want to use your speed and acceleration to keep them off you. It's only 47 seconds left. I could go in for a combat landing, so here's my carriers, or I can fight them. I'm gonna try to fight them just to keep this as exciting as possible. But practicing disengaging from a fight, repairing and rearming as quickly as possible. I switched to this guy because he was right in front of me. Okay, here under attack warning. Afterburners or power burn uses the most amount of fuel, so I'm gonna have to be really careful with that. I'm gonna only use it when I feel I really need it to avoid getting shot. Okay, a few seconds left. It's getting close. Let's see if I can kill this guy 4 times up. Ah, no. 7 kills. I needed to get 11 kills in 6 minutes to win invasion. I only managed to get 7. It's definitely doable. But talking while doing this makes it extra challenge. But yeah, I did avoid getting killed. 7 kills, 0 losses is not bad at all. So it's a great training mode. The other thing I recommend is to work your way up. You know, I didn't get this good against the AI, you know, right from the beginning. I got there over hundreds and hundreds of hours in experience playing flight sims and other space combat games. So it's, you know, it's a process. Hunternet's a game that's focused on your skills and your journey as a pilot and getting better, and that's the fun. Don't worry if you're a newbie. In fact, in many ways, I envy the new players because you're getting that fun of making big progress at the beginning. Because once you're an experienced player, it's going to take more work, and your progress is going to slow down a little bit as you get better and better. If you find the AI to be difficult, again, start in attrition. The other thing you can do is during a refit break, you can practice just flying around these asteroids. Practice circling the asteroid while strafing and, you know, left, strafing up, while managing your distance. Try to hug the asteroid as quickly as you can. Avoid blacking out. And these kind of flight maneuvers I'm doing here will make you a better pilot when you're playing against new players. You really want to learn to control the ship so it becomes an extension of yourself. If your flying is good, if you feel completely in control of both your ship and your pilot avoiding blackout, then the shooting will be the least of your worries. Okay, so focus on that, and then do the racing mode. It's a great way to practice your basic flying there. Learn your radar, right? All in the current flight manual here in the menu will cover a lot of that fundamental stuff. But I'm going to end this video here because I really wanted to keep the emphasis on just showing you how I practice against the AI. I might do another one of this if I get some questions. Feel free to leave your comments, feedback in the comments if you have any questions about my fighting styles, or you have questions about what you should do under different scenarios, or just questions about combat or the game in general, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. I hope you enjoyed that. This is Fernando Z out. Good hunting, pilots, and see you next time.